So, Kirsten, will you give us an idea of your connection with this space? Anything you feel to share from your heart that might be beneficial for someone here that doesn't even understand ACASMA Quantum Energy and the understanding of the courses, and also your take on it, your journey, your connection with the course space and this whole unfolding.
I'll tell you briefly how I came across Andrea on social media, like a lot of people do. About 3 years ago, light language started coming through me. I've been a professional energy healer for 20 years. I'd never really heard light language. So when it started coming out of me, I didn't know what to do with that. And so I went on Instagram and did hashtag light language, and you came up. And I just felt a resonance. And I think this is how most people come to Andrea and to Acasma in general, is there is this resonance. There's this knowing of, wow, like that feels so nourishing to my soul. And so I just followed you for a while, and which led me into this space. What's interesting about signing up for this course is because I've been doing this work for a really long time, I kind of tend to have this sort of like been there, done that attitude for most things. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Another healing modality. Wow. But I joined this space because there was something about the space and the energy of all the things that I had seen. I had purchased a lot of your one-off things, like your classes or whatever, and I really, really enjoyed them. And so I thought, well, I'll just go and I'll see. And I tend to not really feel anything new when I do that kind of stuff. I'm like, and so the first class space, I was like, oh, this is different. And through the whole course space, what I think is super interesting is comparatively to other class spaces I've been in with energy work, is that there were a lot of rules. There were a lot of check boxes. There were a lot of do's and don'ts. There was a lot of evaluations of wrongness and rightness and hierarchical thinking and being. And this space was just like even just tuning into it, my heart relaxes, my stomach relaxes, my shoulders drop. It was just such a place of, and Acasma energy is in general, but the class space itself was and is this total and complete expansion. And we hear this word a lot with Acasma, expand, expand, expand. But I've experienced a lot of teachers and mentors and coaches and all of this stuff who talk about expansion, who talk about, well, it's all up to you, tune into you, tune into you. But there was always an undercurrent of, but I still know more. And that was never present in this space at all. It was truly and authentically an expansive space. And compared to other modalities, and I'm not throwing those under the bus because everything has its place, but this is very different because a lot of modalities that I have learned have been about doing. And Acasma is really about your beingness. Yes, we learn techniques and yes, we learn methods, but it was also like, trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself. If you do it different, it's probably great. Like it was so welcoming to the essence of each person and what they bring to the space. It was like, I've never experienced anything like that. And I've done sessions for friends and family since learning. And those session spaces have been, I got the first positive feedback from one of my kids. And usually they're like, yeah, whatever, mom, it was fine. I didn't notice anything. And he called me this morning right before graduation, was like, wow, and he had all this really specific feedback. And now he's expanding. And so it's just, that's the difference, is there aren't boxes, there aren't checklists, you're going to do it wrong. There isn't an essence of distrust. There's a complete essence of total and complete trusting from the teacher, Andrea, or the Majestic Lioness, whoever's teaching. There is this complete and profound unconditional trust that I had not experienced before in a class space. And so that's what I get like, I'm not a crier, but I am with this. And I told my friend who's here, I said, I just got really teary at the end of class. I just loved it so much. And seriously, I'm not a crier. So for me to feel this is just that soul knowing. And I felt so much love in putting that PDF together. So for anybody who interacts with that, I felt so honored, and it was a really gift of love. So
Oh my
I hope
goodness,
I
I
didn't
love
speak too
this.
long.
No, that is so beautiful, and I feel you in the sense of the emotion space, because for me, it's because we feel the love. It's this immense amount of love. It's this incredible amount of love. And when you feel it, and you cry, you're not sad, you're like enveloped by that love. And it's what you get to feel, and I know, I've said this before, and it may be a little bit odd for some people, but I've said how you hear a lot of stories of near-death experiences, and you hear people say the love was so amazing, the love was so overwhelming, it was so, so beautiful. And I feel like with this Acasma work, we get a glimpse of that. We get like a space of connectivity with that, because that's where we work, really, I think, when we're doing this work, that's where we're working, in these higher vibrational spaces of connection. So you conveyed that all so beautifully. I
Thank you.
love the feedback with your son as well.
Yeah, it was amazing. My kids have experienced energy work since they were babies, and they've always been somewhat detached to it. And so I sent him my session notes, and I just let go, and I thought he's gonna interact as he does. And it was evidential. That was the other thing that was really amazing, is what came up in his session was something that I would have had no way of knowing. And it was just a little thing. And he said, it was like so weird, crazy, Mom. I'm like, that's not crazy, that's magic. He's like, well, it's kind of the same thing for me, but he's like, you had no way of knowing I was doing this thing, and it came up in the session. And what I really love is that a lot of the modalities that I personally had learned and been practicing for a long time, unbeknownst to me, really came from a place, and I didn't recognize this until I was in the Acasma space. They actually looked for a place of brokenness to fix. And what Acasma does, and what I feel it in myself in receiving sessions, what I feel it in myself in facilitating sessions, is that to encompass this space and hold this space for wholeness, to hold the space of the highest light, and to see that person and to assume and work as if they are already in that place of wholeness already, and just being that bridge or ushering that space and holding that space for them to anchor into that themselves. It isn't, Acasma never comes from a place of doing, just like what I said before. It's just about being, and then stepping and getting out of your own way for that. It was really a profound experience.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for all of that.
Yeah.
Quite beautiful. And thank you for all that you have anchored into this now line, by allowing yourself to open to these spaces and process these spaces and truly, really be these spaces. We are anchoring the higher human by being the higher human. We are anchoring higher healing by being and allowing and facilitating it from these spaces of ourselves. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we continue forward?
No, I'm just excited for us all to be here together and to see everybody's faces. You're all so
I
beautiful.
know.
Thank you for allowing
I
me to
love
speak.
that. Thank you for agreeing to do so. Thank you, Holy One. Thank you. So please continue to join us in whatever ways you find work for you, the social outlets, the Patreon platform, the courses, whatever it is. I love you. I love you. I love you.